So if I die, when that time comes, I won't be remembered for completing 700 homes if that is how many I do. I'll be remembered for helping people or speaking up about things I've gone through and encouraging people to speak up as well and being that safe space for people to chat to or lean on. That's how I want to be remembered.
Hello and welcome. You're listening to Constructing Mindsets. I'm your host, Vincent Saunders. This is all about changing the way we talk about the construction industry. Whether you're on the tools or supporting others behind the scenes, we are hearing from the people who are shining their light and making a difference. Thanks for joining us. Let's get into the episode. We're sitting down with Nerissa Ross, a site manager for residential construction company. Hey Nerissa, how are you?
Hi, good thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Had a good day?
Yeah, busy day. It's
What
raining
have
out
you
there, so
What have you been up to today?
I've been trying to dry out some houses, so it's been operation get all the fans, dehumidifiers, heaters into the lots, which is always a fun time.
I was wondering if you were going to talk about you were going to be snagging houses because, I feel like the last 3 or 4 conversations we've had is just like you've been snagging, but I guess it's a little bit of a different stage for you at the moment.
Yeah, I think there's always a different stage, so that's the exciting part about the job. But yeah, this is the sort of like niggly stage when you're before it gets handed over to me as the finishing site manager.
I was just wondering how do we know each other? If you maybe want to answer that or give the listeners some insight to how we know each other.
Yeah. So I met Vincent at Fletcher Livings. Your role was to support our manager, the construction manager, to run sites.
Nice. Just a little bit about your journey into construction. How did you first get into construction industry?
So yeah, I first got into construction, I think it was about 5.5 years ago now. And yeah, that was when I started as a site manager. I was in the construction industry originally in an HR position. So that is my background. I went to school, then studied HR, got my degree, and that I was actually doing a Bachelor of Commerce, and at the time, my interest was mostly in psychology and those sort of papers. So that was my major. Then did a couple of years overseas, so probably about 4 years in total before I came back home. And yeah, after my OE, I was like, oh, what now? I was a little bit lost. And so yeah, took up a PA position for a property developer. And then from there, they realized they really needed somebody to kind of specialize in HR. They were growing really rapidly, and yeah, kind of moved into HR executive, recruited a lot of in-house trade, so builders, plumbers, sparkies. I had to learn a bit about what it took to be a part of that team to recruit for them, and then what they did was give them what they wanted for site managers, and I found it quite difficult to hire, I guess, because there was a few people with good qualifications but no New Zealand experience, came from different countries, and they were just sort of we need somebody that people can resonate with, people listen to, somebody that with good communication skills, somebody like you. And then I was like, okay. And then they asked if I was interested in becoming a site manager. And I was pretty interested in what the company was doing, so they gave me the opportunity. And when I spoke to my stepdad, he was like, there's good opportunity in the construction industry, good money, but he was like, you're gonna be put through the ringer. That was kind of the door opening for me. I went to site and sort of had a look around. They gave me a bit of a brief on what the job would entail, and so I took on the challenge. Been doing site management for 5 years now.
What drew you to it at the start?
I think I wanted the variety and the challenge. I guess I was when I was doing HR, I was kind of oh yeah, the initial thing for me was I like people, and yeah, I was I want to get a job in HR because I'll be meeting lots of people, and I like communicating lots and just having all those sort of connections. But I learned pretty quickly that people don't love HR. So although I love people, people don't love HR. Yeah, it kind of like felt really detached and wasn't really what I thought it would be. Yeah, I think
HR.
yeah. So I kind of got excited about like the opportunity to like meet a whole new range of people, and yeah, like I think the fact that my stepdad was in construction and I watched him like as I was growing up, sort of like helped him on sites, and he was pretty passionate about what he did, and so I think yeah, the opportunity to enter like the big man's world was kind of like, oh, okay, this is a challenge, but I'm excited, and I've got him as well to look up to, so that was a big motivator for me.
Was it what you expected when you first got into it?
I think I didn't have a huge amount of expectation, mainly because it was like thrown at me. like I don't really like have this on my goals or anything. Like I didn't consider a career in construction. I never thought it would even be an option, and like in school there was like building classes. I kind of entered around the time where it was like becoming more and more like more and more normal to see women into trades, and so like I think probably in the first year I didn't really see any women on site, and that was kind of daunting, but then I sort of like looked into like female trades on Instagram and started following them, and then just like saw more out there until it started feeling like it was almost like a movement, and then there were more of us, and that kind of made it feel less weird and more like I was welcome. But like, was it what I expected? I think I expected it to be scarier. Like I saw some sort of like, and this is just speaking from like a woman's perspective in construction, but I saw some like scary stories of like people, you know, having like inappropriate comments made or people crossing lines, and so I was a little bit worried.
For somebody who's in HR and maybe is looking to go into construction, is there any similarities between those two? Do you lean on some of your HR experience during the day at work? Or like does some of that HR background help you at the moment?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like consciously, but like it definitely subconsciously be tapping into lots of those skills. Like it's all about being organised and like running a schedule and making sure everyone knows what they're doing, that they're there on time and what they're there to do. And I guess like being organised is something you have to do for HR as well. Like you're running resources as in like staff, but now it's contractors, and you're organising resources for that staff, for those staff and members, and now you're running like materials. So it's like everything is pretty much the same, just like a whole nother world and a whole nother language and a whole nother type of person, but like
different material names and like different bolt names and screw names and all bits and pieces that are like nobody knows what the heck you're talking about.
Exactly. And I think like the site managers that you meet, like if I think about all the ones that I know just within our company, like there's just so many different skill sets, and you can't really like, it's not just about their background, it's just like somebody's like a computer geek or somebody's really into engineering and like how things are put together, and then somebody's just loves being out on site and talking and meeting people and chatting away and stuff. Like everyone just has their own natural skills and abilities and interests, and that like wrapped up into who you are kind of dresses how you are as a site manager.
With all of those different things, how do you get everyone together? How do you get them together and like get them to achieve a common goal?
I guess that's probably where like the HR skill does sort of I'm not the specialist in building houses or any part of that process, but I'm the specialist in getting people together and thinking of a solution, and I'm the specialist in efficiencies and processes. So as long as I do my job right, like people are there when they need to be there. And so if an issue does come up where it's out of my scope of knowledge, like what I would try and do is get everyone that could be affected around the table. They're the guys that have been there in that role for 15 years. They're the guys that have worked across multiple sites, residential, commercial, and have all this experience where they can draw from, bring it to the table, and then we look at it together. Like sometimes if it's an issue that affects, plumber, builder, sparky, everyone sits down, and more than often somebody's seen this before, somebody's got something to say about it, and we can reach like a ultimate resolution instead of, just doing what one person said. And I probably lean on that more the most because I don't have the experience, and sometimes when you get a site manager that has a trade background for 15, 20 years or however long they've been in the trade before deciding to hang up the tools, they might know best, and they might make a decision based on their own experience, and so it's not really, the best way. It might just be their own.
What challenges have you faced so far in your career?
I would say a lot of it is just, it comes from myself. The pressure that I put on myself, if you get in your head about what somebody's going to think about you, somebody will make their own judgment on you in the first 20 seconds that they meet you. 1, I'm a girl. 2, I'm young. I don't look like a site manager. And then I have that in the back of my mind. Imposter syndrome is real, so I'm I could show up and sometimes, have a little bit of doubt, and so you have to come with confidence, you have to come with knowledge. It sucks because and sometimes, if I'm not having a day where I'm I belong here, it's kind of you feel like you have to really show up and prove yourself the second you step foot in the doors. I don't know, it's weird to explain. I'm not.
Do you think that's purely because it's a male industry?
Yeah, but it's definitely gotten better. But I remember, when I first started, and this might be down to me being quite soft as a person as well, not just a girl but an emotional girl. But when I remember going to get materials and stuff, and somebody being they sent the office girl or something, and people coming to site and being assuming I'm the office girl and I'm just going to do the induction, and they're okay, cool, where's the site manager now? And you're sort of that's me. Carry on where we were. But that used to affect me at the start. I think 5 years in now, I can kind of see what I bring to the table, and so I can see where my strengths are and why I'm here and why that matters. But starting out, and for anyone else that might consider starting as a young female in the industry without any trade background, I think that could be an issue, is trying to figure out how to prove that you're not there for no reason. You're not there to tick a box. I'm a girl and they need diversity. You're actually, I've got a good head on my shoulders and I've got a bit of knowledge and I know how to organise people, and let me prove it to you. If you're in a smaller developer, they've got, a lot of the time they've got their foreman of building running the project, or even all the foremans of each trade group coming together and sort of contributing more than what the project manager would in some ways. So I'm I guess, there's a lot less involvement when we're doing such large scale projects, and it's pretty cookie cutter for where we are. So it's
and you've got all the processes behind you to help you through the build and things.
Yeah,
and your own
we're
routines.
Mass producing, so we're kind of we know exactly how long it's going to take us to build this block of 10 houses, and we know which stages come in which, we know who's doing them, we've worked with them for 10 years, so it's there's definitely advantage. I think you can have people like me in positions like that for bigger developers, but when you're getting a bit more bespoke builds, you probably wouldn't see as much variety, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. And you talked about some of those challenges, some of those tough times that you face, potentially early on in your career, and now maybe you've kind of got through that. What might some advice be about getting some, it's maybe your first or second year in the industry?
It'd be hard to answer that with because I always think as a site manager, I imagine that being actually on the tools would be very different. But I work with them, I see them every day. My challenges, I think, were mental health challenges, probably more so. Actually, no, it would be personal life and work life. There was a lot of doubt that paired up with just things I went through anyway, and kind of like a whirlwind of like, what am I doing? Do I belong? Am I good enough? Until I hit rock bottom. And so, I was like, that's kind of where I've really taken a leadership role, I guess, is mental health space and construction is what I care about, and pretty involved in a lot of ways. But yeah, mostly because I experienced, hardship and mental health issues. Yeah, I think when I started, Mates in Construction came out. I remember them coming to site, and I was like, this is really awesome that this is a topic and this is being looked at and worked on and spoken about. And then I went through some stuff and then was like, oh wow, I need them. And then spoke to my boss, and then I think we kind of realized that there's all these tools and all these companies out there focusing on trades and contractors, but not really the staff that were overseeing those people. And so there was some gaps within our staff, and so we spoke about doing a mental health ambassadors group. So I'm pretty actively involved in that now, and that just equips us, I guess, for any conversations that we need to have that might be particularly difficult around mental health, and pretty much mirrors what Mates in Construction does for contractors but within our employee workforce.
So that's for the site team, site managers, project managers. Yeah.
For anyone really in our company, but I guess site manager's position is pretty isolated. A lot of the time you could be working on your own without a team, but you've got a high pressure role. There's a lot of, I guess, different departments relying on you: health and safety, QS team, sales, the guys on site most importantly, and so you're kind of pulled in lots of different directions. And yes, it is a really high pressure job, and so as much as we need to be looking out for our contractors, we saw an opportunity to improve on that space, even within the employees, so we could be walking our talk and able to provide that support for each other before handing that down to contractors. So yeah, I've been involved with Mates in Construction, and then within our company creating that ambassadors group where we just work on initiatives to roll out, so that it's something that people are thinking about, and how we can look after ourselves. And then Live Well Build Well as well, that I've been involved with them recently as a champion, and so they focus on sort of getting stories out there on trades and people and how they've had challenges. And I think that just is really cool, because more than often people don't talk about that stuff, and so it's kind of especially in the construction industry where everyone's pretty tough and gets on with it. So yeah, I guess it's just if your foreman or your mate on site has had a tough time, this is how they dealt with it, and it kind of humanizes the experience of trying your best and having a hard time, and just you feel less alienated when you've gone through a tough time. So it's pretty cool that he's sharing those stories as well.
When you kind of work through those programs, one thing that maybe stands out to you that you've seen maybe help people sort of through some of those challenges that they've faced, or is it?
For me, definitely vulnerability. If we're talking about mental health issues, or just I guess any challenges, or burnout, it was all kind of lumped up together. But definitely being open and honest, especially for those guys on site, they're like us, I guess, where they are going from site to site. They might not be the same team every day. They sometimes work in awful conditions, under a house or in a roof or a hidden toilet, or it's not pretty, not comfy behind a computer with aircon and heaters and coffees made for them. So it can be doom and gloom sometimes. So I guess for those people in this industry, being able to be vocal about when they're having a hard time, or when they might need extra support, or to be put with a mate on a site that they want to go to because they just need that human connection, or just reach out, use the resources, chat to mates, chat to our site managers. it's pretty cool when you have a site manager because it's like a backboard. You can go to them, you can make sure you're doing the right thing, you can have a chat, and that's what we're there for. So yeah, I guess just being open if you're going through a tough time, that would be my advice.
Like, it sounds like you've created some great connections, like through your, I don't know, sort of 4 or 5 years in the industry so far. Like, how do you find building those strong relations in the industry? Like,
I think the first thing I thought of, which is the first time I thought about it, is when I started with this company. I remember a piece of advice from one of the site managers that was training me was be seen, and I was like, what does that mean? And he was like, just be seen. And I was like, okay, so like that kind of like was in my mind, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna put my hand up for everything. And there was a lot to put your hand up for, but like, yeah, it was just like one little door opened, another little door opened, another little door opened, another, until like I just have this like, yeah, this big community of people from construction. I guess you can just, yeah, be eager, hungry, curious, like go to all the events, go to the networking events, do the courses, put your hand up for stuff. Like sometimes I put my hand up for too much, but I think about like, you know, like if I meet somebody there and an opportunity comes from that, or like even if I just say something that resonates with somebody and that's the interpretation of me forever, and if you know, like a opportunity might come up in 5 years' time where they go, oh, like mental health. Oh, I remember meeting Nerissa. She really cares about this. She might have something to say. We'll interview her, like something like this. I think, yeah, just being curious and to be passionate, I guess. I'm passionate about mental health and people looking after themselves, and I think that's because it lacks in this industry. And like I'll just go on and on and on and on, and like there's a light in my eyes when I talk about it, so it's like people remember that. So when you have so much passion about something, like you're the go-to person for that, or you're the guru for that. And so yeah, like it's built off caring about something and then giving up my time for free because I'm like, this is what I want to contribute towards this. And then just that compiling. Like I did the Clash for Construction, and that was like a boxing match.
I wanted to ask you about that because obviously I wasn't working at the company when you did that. Like, it's a little bit off topic, but like, how did that come out? Like that boxing match, I think I saw it on LinkedIn or something. I was just like, oh my god, you're doing a boxing match, like great for you. But I was just like, oh my god, that scares me just like thinking about doing that. Like, how did that? Yeah, like I don't know, how did that come up?
That's weird. No, I just like, it was literally that what I just said. Like I care about it. Like I care about mental health, and
Yeah.
so Mates in Construction is like a company that obviously do advocate for mental health, and so I was like, cool. Like it's non-for-profit. How can I help? And then that came out, and I was like, I've never stepped foot in the ring. I've never been punched in the face. I don't think I've ever bled from my nose. So I went into that. But yeah, like anything, I just like became obsessed until I was comfortable doing it.
How long did you train for that for?
3 months.
3 months. Okay.
Like one of the hardest things I've ever done.
How long was it? Sorry.
And the fight,
Yeah.
it was 2-minute rounds times 3.
Okay.
We made it that far. Some people out in the first 20 seconds. The fight before me dislocated his shoulder, and so the whole thing shut down for like 30 minutes. And so there, and I was like,
Like right before you're like ready to
right
go
before I
on.
was coming on, I was like, I'm not scared. You're scared.
Okay, so it was like 2 minutes of like 100% intensity for 3 rounds.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
like you've never experienced before, unless you're a boxer.
Are you still doing it, or are you just like now one and done?
I am like doing a little bit of boxing on some HIIT classes at the gym.
Yeah, I like saw that and I was just like, oh my god, no way. But like, you're one of those people who, like you said, you just grab every opportunity and like yeah, you just make the most of it, which is incredible. All the amazing stuff you do with mates and your boxing match, and I don't know, all the running and stuff you do on Strava, which I think is pretty incredible. Like, what's one moment that has made you, like, stood out, that made you super proud throughout your career so far?
For me, it's just like sticking it through and like staying alive. Because there were some moments where I was like, man, I am not cut out for this. Like, not just construction, but I was just like, like went through some life events. I was like, like took on our family farm. I was isolated. I was out in Pocono. Went through a couple of failed relationships, and then I was like, oh my god, I've just not got this figured out. And then like work was like at the peak of its busyness, and I was just like, man, like I've got to like juggle all these things, and like I'm actually really struggling in my own life. And I was kind of like, yeah, I got to the point where I was just like point of no return, and like I'm open about this stuff so I can say it, but like I was suicidal, and I was just like, I can't do another day. And I think getting through that and being super open and transparent with my boss and even the company was like so groundbreaking for me, because it was like I didn't really need like to be given all these things and all the support. It was just like getting that off my chest, saying that this is hard and this sucks and that is so okay, and like the support that came with that. Like, what do you need? Do you need to take some time? Do you want to, like, how can we help? And getting that response was just like, whoa, like this is so nice, and made me respect my boss, made me respect my employer. And it wasn't even I didn't need the time. I just like got off my chest. I felt like, we're in this together, and I'm not just this like computer machine that's showing up and like doing the most output I can for their gain. It was like, okay, we're working together. How can I be the best version of me so you guys can get the best out of me? So it was like a really cool like moment to like know that I could share that, and I could get the time and space to look after myself in that period. And it just meant that I felt like I wanted to give back when I was in a better mindset, when I was like in a better place mentally and even physically. Like, mental health is crazy. You start feeling it in the body. You're tired, you don't want to go anywhere, you stop eating, you stop sleeping. All those things start to compound until you're not really able to operate at your best. And so when I could share that and I got the response that I did, I was like, man, like I owe it to these guys to do my best, and I owe it to myself to share what I learned in that time. So I was just like, like I didn't know what to do. And so I'm like, if anyone, now that I'm in a place where I feel good within myself, like if anyone was to ever go through that, what would I want? What did I need in that time? And I know best because I went through it. So that's how I look at it. I'm like, okay, they don't know what they need because they haven't been through it yet, or they haven't come out the other side. So how can I make myself known to be there if somebody needs me? Or how can I inspire people to like come out if this is what they're going through? Because that in itself, even just sharing that, like you're like, if somebody else is going through that and they are able to open up, it's like, weight lifted off your shoulders.
Like just being there, present for that time or opportunity where somebody wants to open up and be honest and truthful.
Yeah, like that quote, people don't remember what you do, they remember how you made them feel. So if I die, when that time comes, I won't be remembered for completing 7, if that is how many I do. I'll be remembered for helping people or speaking up about things I've gone through, and encouraging people to speak up as well, and being that safe space for people to chat to or lean on. That's how I want to be remembered.
Amazing. Incredible. Are there any experiences, like you've obviously been through a lot of experiences, like are there any experiences that remind you to this day like why you got into construction?
Definitely my stepdad. That was mainly it. Like, now that I'm in it, I think I just love the variety of work. Like, you're meeting so many different people from different expertise and learning from all of them. And you meet people from all up the ladder. So, yeah, I love that part. And I love, like, being able to see what you produce. Like, I don't know, my time in HR, you're hiring, firing, all that sort of stuff. It's like not something you can hold. And like seeing people move into their homes after we've built them is a cool thing. We put a lot of like effort into getting those houses designed well and looking good, and so when somebody comes in and appreciates it, you're just like, cool, I did a good job. And it's cool to see somebody else love it as much as you do.
Do you still do the ribbons on the front door?
Yes,
Sweet,
of
nice.
course.
Did you get one? Did you get one on your place?
I did. I was so excited.
Did you have to put it on yourself?
Most expensive present you'll ever give yourself.
Did you have to put the ribbon on yourself for your own front door, or no? Did someone else do that for you?
No, the sales team do that, but I was just
That'd
like,
be pretty funny
"Yay."
if you ended up putting your own ribbon on your own front door.
Yeah, it was like a full circle moment. But yeah, like definitely still like my stepdad, I think. I
Yeah.
just like look up to him. He's like, yeah, he's just been a builder his whole life and then went on to project managing, and he's my idol. And I think, yeah, that was the reason I started, and I'm super passionate, and like he pushed me this way, and now he's like so proud of what I'm doing and where I've taken it. He's probably like, when I talk about the mental health stuff, and I've like, you know, like with the Clash for Construction, I had to do an interview with that, and he was kind of like, oh, you don't need that, and that's the fluffy stuff, and that's all, you know, getting too soft in the industry, blah, blah, blah. And like the more he's seen me open up, and then like Mike King kind of did a spiel, and then like funny, I've been talking about it for so long and he doesn't care, but then Mike King goes and does a speech and he's like, oh man, like this is really important stuff.
Like the penny
Now
drops.
he's yeah, now he's paying attention, and now he's like really proud of like my passion and where I've taken that. But
Nice.
yeah, so he's like the reasoning for me still.
So, well, yeah, looking ahead, like to the future there, like what are your dreams for the industry?
Well, the industry, I think maybe like to have this like as normal of a career as, you know, like anything at uni is. Like it's seen as a good thing to do after you leave high school is go to uni. And it almost back in the day was like you're a dropout and you go and start a trade, and then you're, you know, like a builder or whatever trade you get into, and that's kind of like for the dropouts. But it doesn't have to be like that. Like if I could go back in time, just with what I know now, like I would have loved to have gone and like done a trade, or like even architecture or engineering or something like that, that would like kind of like teach me the nuts and bolts of what we do. But it just didn't cross my mind. Like it wasn't presented to me. It wasn't something that I like was even like, yeah, I don't know, wasn't in my like spectrum of possibilities. So it'd be cool to see, yeah, like more people getting into trades for that whole reputation to change, but also females as well. And I think that's,
Do you see that happening at the moment?
yeah, I think so. Went to do a trade talk for like a careers group at a high school, and there was like, I think 5 girls in the class of like 20 or 30. But like, yeah, even that was really cool, and they were really interested and engaged and asked lots of questions. And so it's like, it doesn't matter if you're a girl or boy, man or woman, it's literally like, are you showing that you're eager? Are you showing that you're keen to learn? And like, yeah, it was nice to see. Yeah, I guess just wanting more women in the trade, so it does feel like a place that you can enter and feel more comfortable.
Yeah, for sure. What would make this a better place to work for everybody, do you think?
Everyone just to chill. I don't know. I feel like it's very like stressful environment, and like it's like, I guess people are there on site for a little period of time, like they come and go and they've got something to achieve and they're getting paid for that period. So it can be very like transactional, but like I guess the culture that we try to create on some of our sites is like, you know, build those connections, have those relationships, and make it feel like a comfortable place to work where you can catch up, have a yarn, and yeah, like just a good environment, I guess.
Just a nice place to work. Nice
Just
place
a
to spend
nice
your
place
day.
to work. Yeah.
Oh, cool. And like, yeah, just wrapping up, like where can people find or connect with you?
They can find me on LinkedIn, pretty active on there. I don't really have any like plug of like gram or anything. I'm just like,
On
you know,
Strava.
on
Finally.
Strava,
On
finally on
Strava.
Strava. Yeah, that's the one. 5 times a day I'm posting.
No,
Me and my partner, we have a competition right now for running, so 5Ks every day for me.
it's pretty awesome. I don't know, I was at home the other day. Oh, I think when I commented on your page and like, I was like, oh God, Nerissa ran 5Ks last night and like came up like straight on my feet and it was like 8 o'clock and I was like, okay, sweet. There's no reason why I can't go run. So like, it was like 8 o'clock, 8:30, and I'm like in the country. It's like pitch black. I had like my little head torch on. I was like, God damn it,
I
Nerissa.
need to know that. I need to know. I'm
I
like,
was
does
like,
anyone out there care?
yeah, I was like, God damn it, if Nerissa can run 5Ks, I can go out and do like 25 minutes.
I
But
know.
yeah,
I
so
think
thanks
that's
for
like
that.
that's the whole thing. Like, I'm no athlete or influencer, but like, it's just like I'm like doing it every day consistently just to show myself that it's possible, and then also like create little habits. Like, if I think I can't, I actually can, because it's like you can squeeze it in on your lunch break. You can wake up 30 minutes earlier. You can do it at 11 p.m. Don't recommend depending on where you live. Like, there's been days where I'm like, oh man, I really can't put this in, but then gone for a night run and it's been, nice and cool and
Yeah,
not as
I do
bad as you
enjoy running at night actually. Like when you get out there, it's nice and quiet. Like it's a bit, like you said, it's a bit cool. You can maybe see the stars, and it's
feel
just
like
like
Batman. While everyone sleeps, you're getting it done.
funny. Well, thanks for coming on the show, Nerissa. Any final thoughts for you?
I think this is really cool what you're doing, and I think I tried to like look for something like this when I first started in construction because I was just like, what am I doing? Like, who's out there? And I think, yeah, it opens up like some interesting conversations, so it's exciting. I can't wait to listen to the rest of the episodes.
That's it for today's episode of Constructing Mindsets. Remember, every conversation is a chance to shift the culture of construction. Reviews are always appreciated. Until next time, take care and keep showing up with good energy.